and talk to you about something that is very important. In fact, the subject I'm going to talk about, they tell you when you are studying this particular topic that is the most significant thing you will ever do in your life and the most important choice you will ever make in your life. So I'm very happy that I get to talk about the most important thing that will ever happen to you besides God. We, of course, know God. I'm taking out of the equation God because you already have chose God. But this is the next number one decision you will make that will affect the rest of your life. Do you have any idea what that is? Anybody got an idea? Yeah, marriage. Pretty good. Who you will marry or not marry, if you will marry or not marry. So we are going to be talking about choosing God's best for the next 4 weeks. I hope I can finish it even today when I did 43 slides just for today. So I'm over compulsive. That's my nature. So I got up this morning, I'd already typed out most of my notes, and I sat at the computer till about 20 minutes before I arrived, going over not even all the notes that I'd already typed out the day before. So we're going to fly. Do you have on, are you strapped into your seats? We're going to fly, okay? And hopefully I will not overwhelm you. 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, it's going to overwhelm you. I'm going to fly. But I didn't actually gear this material for your age. I geared it for 2020, who are very capable and very studious and used to having instructors that plow them over. So this is going to be more of the same. For those of you who are in the Rock Ministry and are getting to join in, you're very blessed. Not because it's me, but because it is a topic that you need to be a little bit aware of, even though your age may not be actually at that point yet. But still, you need to, we say, open our eyes, because we live in a world that is asking you to be involved in things that really is not what God has for you right now. Many of you may or may not be aware, I think most of you do, the stand that the church has taken. Let me tell you how that originally came about. When we first came here, Pastor and I, and we started establishing a new work, and we were working with a lot of the heroin addicts for SANA, Singapore Anti-Narcotics, breaking into many families, trying to help put families back together, winning new people to the Lord in the process, and Tabernacle of Joy was first formulated. When Pastor and I came here, the church was about 20 people, and that was Brother David Chung's family was there, about 16 Filipino maids, a handful of Singaporeans, PRs or whatever, okay, about 5 or 6. So from there, we started working and doing and going, and the things started growing, and we made contacts, and we started working with families, because Pastor and I was a family. In fact, the age we were about the age of most of the couples that came into the church at that time. And we also had young people that came in at that time, because we were fun. So, we kind of hung around with them too. So I was younger then, obviously. So we started working with families. Well, lo and behold, the families started having more children, and the children, we started Sunday school. There was only 4 children in our Sunday school when I started a Sunday school. I started it. It was my 2 children, Megan and Barrick. Megan was like 3-ish, and Barrick was like 1.5 years. And then we had Amanda and Stephanie, and that was our Sunday school that I started. And I would play the keyboard, and then I would sneak out and take care of the 4 children, and then they would come and get me, and I would come back in and play the keyboard and bring the children back in to be with their parents and do the altar service, and Brother Willoughby did all of that in between, me sneaking in and out, because we started with just a very, very small handful of people. And so as the families grew and as more people came, and with more of the married couples started having more children, they came to me at one point, and I believe it was Brother Paul Chong came to me at that point, or some of them did, and maybe it wasn't him, but we got together, and I said, parents, I think we need to start forming a set of norms. Before we know it, our children will all be age to date, or looking for somebody or whatever. What do you want us to do? So I threw it out to them. I didn't tell them what I wanted in my heart, but I thought I'll throw it out to you and you tell me. I said, what do you guys think would be a good age to have our kids start mixing and doing all of this dating thing and all of that kind of stuff? In my heart, I knew what I wanted, but I dare not say, because I wanted it to come out of their mouth. I had a very good reason for that. So sure enough, I think it was Brother Paul, if I remember right, Brother Paul said, I think they should be about 21 years old. Actually older than what I thought. Because originally I thought maybe finish your A level in America, like 18, 19-ish. Then I could tolerate it. Before that, I really couldn't take it myself. And so when they said 21, my whole body's going like, I wanted to jump up and scream, all right? But I just looked very calm, and I said, okay. I said, I don't have any problem with that. That sounds like a great age to me. I said, why do you pick that age? And he said, because at that time they're done with their studies. I said, kind of what's in my mind. In my mind, some Americans finish school at 18 and they don't go to university. So I thought, but of course I would prefer them finishing their university too, because that gets very messy if you're dating somebody while you're in university. You don't have time. You don't have time. If you didn't know it, you don't have time. So when he said that, I said, I think that sounds great. What do you other parents think? Well, at that time, our children were kind of the older ones probably. And so they all said, yeah, sounds good. I said, okay, we will make a norm. In our church, in Tabernacle of Joy, we will not have dating. We will all bind together as family units, and we will choose this as a norm for us. And anyone who joins into our group, this will be how we establish what we are doing. And it's good we do it now. And I said, now I'm going to tell you, since you chose that age, probably was older than what I had in my mind, but I'm very much in agreement. I said, but it's good that you've chose it. I said, because when your children get older and your children don't like it, we will know who chose it. And as kids have gotten older, I have to say we've had adults that have come to me and said, Sister Barb, don't you think it's a little ridiculous? Because society is saying you should be mixing. You should be developing social skills. You should be being with each other. This is part of life. You should be developing these things. Contrary to what society says, isn't actually what the norm has to be. They are finding out, in fact, in the notes that I had, dating has only been around for the last century. Before that, there was no such thing as dating. And in the last century, we have discovered it has completely failed. So not only do we have a norm that hasn't been established for very long, everybody pretty much laughs at just a century's worth of statistics. They do not take that as any value. They don't base a whole philosophy upon 10 years because that would be not very wise. But when you have 10 years and the 10 years have proven it to be a failure, then you already know you got problems. Get where I'm coming from? So sure enough, after the little darlings get older, and we all get our own will, and you're supposed to get your own wills. If you were 18, 16, 17, and didn't have any opinions, I would be concerned about you. I would think, cannot be, that's very strange. You walking around with no opinions, just everything. Of course you're going to have some opinions. That's what education is about, to broaden your spectrum of thinking. It's helping you develop your values. You're supposed to think. However, do not be deceived that just because you're those who are on your equal level of understanding or people who are influencing you are the ones that you have to swallow everything hook, line, and sinker. Just because your friends say it, or just because society says it, or just because an instructor says it, or just because I say it, doesn't mean it's so. You have to base on something that is proven for a long history of time. Luckily for you, we so happen to have that book. That's the Word of God. This is a book that has been around since before so many other things. It's the oldest book. It's a book that's been in print longer than anything. It has been proven for years and years and centuries, and it still is holding its own. In fact, in this book and one area that I looked in, there was a certain book that has made it on the New York Times bestseller, and it is called The Rules. Time-Tested Secrets for Capturing the Heart of Mr. Right. This was on the New York bestseller list and ran for a long time. The basis of